What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's Analysis. We're going to be looking at SMCI today, super micro. So this thing's been trending upward after its huge downturn that we've seen here. When you look at the fib, you can see that we pushed down off of the 0.5, the 618, the key level of trend continuation. So we pushed back up to the golden zone and got rejected very hard. A very strong wick. And now it looks like we're slowly pushing and breaking through these levels. As you can see, on the monthly, we closed back in this area here, which is incredibly bullish. That is a very, very nice sign to see. Closing back inside of these wicks shows that momentum is starting to kick up and that the bulls are pretty much ready to take back over and get SMCI back to new levels. So we have seen that breakout slowly happening. We had a couple retests, and now we closed this week above this candle over here, looking incredibly bullish. Let's see if this week can actually push back above this wick and continue breaking these highs of this structure. This is looking very nice. We have a very, very tight trend right now, holding up pretty well, and we are having that key bounce off of this level of support, and we have broken out of this downward sloping trend line that we were stuck in all the way back to March 2024. We've had a couple touches and some strong rejections, and we have this upward sloping trend line formed, and we have broken past this key level of resistance, which is now a floor supporting price to higher levels. And we have the major trend that we want to get back above, which is this one that's been established from July 2022. Of course, that's going to be, a little bit from now. As you can see, we have to make it all the way, maybe to like 130, 140 before actually being able to continue back onto this original trend line that we broke down from. The key levels that will be coming up for SMCI will be around this area here. It should be in this area right here. That's going to be a key level that we have to break. And then once we break 65.9 or 66, whatever you want to say, we should have a clean move to around 94. And that's maybe when we can come into contact with this upward sloping trend line, depending on when it happens. Obviously, the later it happens, the higher price needs to be to come into contact with this trend line. But either way, at 94, we will be coming to the top of this range over here, which we will more than likely find some resistance before finally breaking through. Maybe we push up here, create some kind of bull flag, and then push up higher. On the monthly SMA, we are touching the 20, and we are finding a little bit of rejection. We still have 7 days left. If we can get a close back above that, that would be incredibly bullish. We haven't had a close back above the 20, since all the way over here, August 2024. We've been underneath it ever since. And the last time we've broken underneath and closed back above, we went on an absolute rampage. So we closed underneath here in October 2020, and then we closed back above and went absolutely ballistic to the upside. So hopefully we can see some kind of recreation of that move, and we can go insane to the upside. Here on the weekly SMA, you can see the 20 has pushed above the 50, which is incredibly bullish. Right here, the 20 is the blue and white. The 50 is the yellow and pink. So that's a very nice sign to see, especially on a weekly perspective. Last time we saw the 20 break above the 50 was way back here at $1.80 or so. So that's an incredibly bullish sign. Hopefully, price will reflect that and actually continue the trend higher and absolutely rip to the upside. SMCI, once it gets going, this thing can absolutely just keep running nonstop. And on the daily, we're bouncing off the 20. We just touched it after having a nice little deviation to the upside, touching it a little bit, hopefully to continue the trend higher. The 50 is trailing it as well, and the 50 has surpassed the 200-day. So these SMAs are all pointing towards the upside, and they're all pretty incredibly bullish. We do have that little bit of rejection on the monthly, but I do think that can be broken relatively easy with the momentum that has been, spread across the semiconductor space recently. On the weekly Bollinger Bands, we are touching the top band a little bit, and we found some rejection. So that could be a part of the reason why we're finding a little bit of a slowdown. But here on the daily, we're looking pretty good as we already touched the blue band. And now it looks like we're trying to make our way up, hopefully to the red band, to continue and hug the red band for a trend to the upside. On the weekly 8 EMA, it looks like we tried coming back to it and we ended up getting a bounce and we're pushing up a little bit higher. And here on the daily, we fell underneath it and we actually reclaimed it. Today, we closed back above it. So that's a very bullish sign. Hopefully the trend can continue up higher and we can get to nice price action to continue that move. When you look here on the fibs, you can see that the pullback was very shallow to the 382, and now it looks like we're trying to push back and create, fresh highs off of this recent leg here. The monthly RSI for SMCI is looking pretty good as we got a double bottom formation pushing up higher, and we finally broke above this yellow moving average that was pushing downward. We were down underneath it for a while now, since April 2024, and we have broken above it, and it looks like the trend's starting to look incredibly bullish, and it looks like the strength is starting to kick up. We're holding well above our 50 line, the midline here. That was acting as a key level of support and resistance prior. As you can see here, price was rejecting off of this level plenty of times and acting as support. So now that we're holding above it, that's a very good sign. Hopefully the trend can continue. And here on the weekly, we're establishing higher highs and higher lows, and it looks very nice at the moment, holding well above our yellow moving average and pushing hopefully to that 70 mark. And here on the daily, it's practically the same thing. We are underneath our yellow moving average. Hopefully we can break above it and get a nice spike to the 70 region or the overbought region, so we can see a nice green shaded area for an extended move to the upside. On the monthly MACD, we're looking very nice as this thing's curling back up. We have the momentum trending, the bearish momentum is trending downward, so that's incredibly bullish. We have the blue pushing back towards the orange, so hopefully this can start to reclaim this. Of course, it takes time because it's on the monthly time frame, but that's incredibly bullish. Here on the weekly, we were in bearish territory and almost got like an inverse head and shoulders kind of thing, pushing up, momentum's steady, and the blue is holding well above the orange consistently. And here on the daily, we're trending downward temporarily, but the overall trend's pretty bullish. Volume is kind of just dwindling down, going sideways a little bit. So once we can get a spike in the SMCI volume, this thing can start to ramp back up and we can get a nice green hill like we've seen prior to continue that move higher. The key level we will have to watch for is this area over here at this 0.5 to the 618. This is going to be our toughest level to break through, in my opinion. Aside from the top of the channel, this will be one of the toughest ones to break through because this is a key reversal or continuation of the trend, I would say. So as price is pushing up, it's going to increase the odds that we reverse back down. Or you can say it where it's because it's a bearish pull, so it's a continuation of this move. So it's continuing this move. It's a reset to continue down further. So that's going to be a key level that we have to break, which is sitting at around 80 to around 68 bucks on SMCI. Once we can break that, hold it, and retest off of it, it's going to probably catapult us into this region up here, which is the top part of the range, and then we can finally break that and hopefully see some fresh highs and continue the momentum higher. Overall, pretty bullish on semiconductors over the next 3-5 years. Not financial advice, of course, but DCAing into these may be a decent idea. Make sure you guys like and subscribe on these videos. It always helps the algorithm. I appreciate all your recent support, and I'll see you guys in the next one.